Alright guys, welcome to part 2. I'm going to just continue pulling this engine out. We pulled the head off last episode and realised that everything is shit, so the block's coming out as well now. It can't be saved. It's not worth putting new piston rings in this block. So we're going to rebuild a different block, put a brand new head on it, slap it in. We'll get this engine block out. I'll show you the disassembly of that as well, and a few more things throughout this series. I'm going to run over fuel pumps. I'm going to talk about heads and things like that, and obviously show you how to assemble it all. And I will disassemble some things as well, so we can get a closer look at how everything works, and maybe you can get an idea of how you can pull it apart if you're having these issues as well. Alright, this is the typical process. We just got to disconnect everything that bridges the car to the engine, which includes coolant lines, fuel lines, exhaust, intake, power steering, the air conditioning pump is already pulled off, and wiring, and anything else that you come across. So we'll just disconnect everything. Last thing will be engine mounts and bell housing bolts, and we'll reef this thing out of here. So cue the time lapse. Alright, I've got everything done except one earth strap. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to thread that bolt. I don't know why it's so tight, but I can only get a ring spanner on it, so if I keep going with that, I'll probably have a shit time there. So I'm just going to pull the engine out a bit, and then hopefully the engine will be kind of floating in the engine bay, and I can get a impact socket on it, and then that'll be the last thing to disconnect. And then we'll pull this out. I'm just going to jig up something here. The engine leveler is going to add too much height, so I think the engine crane is going to hit the garage door before the engine has enough height to get out of the engine bay. One thing I can do is take the jack stands out and then get the front of the car lower to the ground. Maybe I can just use a strap and get the engine crane a lot lower to begin with. Now, one other little hack: if you're planning on leaving the bell housing in the car, you've got to undo your clutch master cylinder, because that gets in the way of a long spanner, and that's what you need to undo that bell housing bolt. So not too hard to move out of the way. You don't have to disconnect the fluid or anything, just kind of jimmy it up out of the way. Let's give this a go. Alright, I've missed the bell housing bolts, so hopefully that's the only thing I've missed. Just a hot tip for all you new players at home as well is put a piece of wood, something substantial, in front of your air conditioning condenser, heat exchanger, whatever it is, because you don't want your main pulley smashing into that and ruining your day. Alright, I can't leave it on the crane like this. Now I've got an engine stand, but that would make it impossible to pull off the flywheel, so clutch and flywheel come off now, and then we'll put the spider on the back, and then put the engine stand on, and that's it. The engine's out. We can start fixing up the other one and taking all the bits off this. Alright, that's a good place to leave this video. Next time I will be dismantling these engines. Definitely be dismantling the one that is it's just not worth saving, I don't think. I'll just keep it for spares. I'll try hone it. I might practice honing on this, see how the cylinder walls look. And yeah, I'm basically going to practice disassembling this engine, which doesn't matter, so that I don't get anything wrong when I disassemble the engine that does matter. So I'll bring you along for that. I'm going to disassemble the head just because I'm curious as to how all that stuff works. That's something I've never done before. So I'll show you that as well. Yeah, in summary with this, the main things you've got to watch out for, or you might not think of doing, is disconnecting that clutch master so you can get to that bell housing bolt. Definitely pull the starter motor out. The starter motor doesn't bolt to the engine, but it does get in the way of things that you do need to disconnect, so just pull it out. And yeah, make sure you prop up your bell housing and your transmission once the engine's out and once you're pulling the engine out. So initially I had just a trolley jack under there holding it up so I could move things if I needed to. And now that the engine's out, I've just got some blocks of wood in there so I can use my trolley jack again. And that's it, so we'll see you on the next video.